Welcome to the first video in the Python Store Procedure video series, Write to a Table. My name is Harney. I have experience with SQL Server since its first edition. I'm Snowpro course certified and a Snowflake data engineer. I have 5 years of cloud experience, over 20 years of database programming and data warehouse experience, and over 10 years as a college education instructor. Watch all 3 videos in this series, Write to a Table, use a data frame, and use a calculation. Snowpark is an API pre-installed on separate VMs that allows you to access Python DLLs along with Anaconda packages in an isolated and thread-safe environment. You can also use Snowpark performance-specific functions to access its vectorized engine for extremely fast processing of streaming data. The Snowpark engine resides where data lives, so you don't have to additionally copy data outside Snowflake. In this series, we will be creating stored procedures and using Python to access standard data sets. Always be sure to create your stored procedures in the same database and schema so you know where they are located and can apply consistent permissions. Be sure to call your procedures with that same database and schema reference if you are in a different schema. Using create or replace as we develop our stored procedure allows us to modify and replace the code in the procedure as needed. We will name our procedure starting with USP underscore to identify this object in the system catalog as a user stored procedure. Remember that objects listed in the system catalog are uppercase. You can list parameters for your stored procedure in parentheses, followed by their data type. The first property of a stored procedure that we will specify is the return data type, then the coding language, followed by the language version. When you specify the Snowpark Python package, that tells Snowflake which API to use. You can also use Java, Scala, JavaScript, and other programming languages. Our final property is handler, which tells the processing engine which method to access first within the procedure. The as clause identifies that we are about to specify the stored procedure code. The open and closed $sign sets represent begin and end statements like you would use in a SQL transaction. When you add your main method, the first parameter by default will be session, similar to self, and allows you to execute commands that refer to objects in the current session in Snowflake, such as table. Other parameters, if they match the names of the ones sent into the stored procedure, will support pass-through of those values to the stored procedure code. You can refer to those parameters without any special prefix in your code. In this example, the write function performs an action to save the object to the left of that command as a table in Snowflake. The return command specifies the output for the procedure. Let's create a small table as our data set to work with. To run the code within our stored procedure, we will use the call command followed by the procedure name and parameter values. After executing the stored procedure, select data from the new sample table B that was just created with our save as command. Note, if you execute the stored procedure a second time, you will get an error specifying that sample table B already exists. So let's fix that. To change the behavior of the write, add a mode argument. In this example, we will do an append. Re-execute the procedure to recreate it with the new command. Re-execute the stored procedure and select from sample table B again to see the extra row that was appended. Execute it again, but this time change the input count parameter from a 1 to a 2. Select from sample table B again to see that there are now 4 rows in the table. Change the mode from append to overwrite to change the behavior again. Re-execute the stored procedure to recreate it with your modification. And call the stored procedure again. This time, when you select from table B, you will see that the table was overwritten. This table uses simple session commands within a Python method to show you stored procedure basics. Watch the next video in this series to learn about using a data frame in a procedure. To clean up and remove a stored procedure, use the drop procedure command followed by the procedure signature, which is the name and data types of the procedure. Snowflake allows overloading, so it is possible to create a second store procedure with the same name and a different set of parameters with different data types. Delete unused data tables when you are done. Be sure to watch the next video in this Python series, Python Store Procedure, Use a Data Frame. Search hashtag Snowpark Sundays or hashtag Angela Harney in YouTube to see other videos.